Someone once told me, "You're too much." So I became less until I realized shrinking myself for the comfort of others is spiritual dishonesty. If you've ever made yourself smaller to keep the peace, if you've ever had to hide your winnings so others wouldn't feel insecure, this message is for you. Because you need to know that the discomfort others feel in your presence is not your problem to solve. Lowering yourself does not elevate others. It merely corrupts the integrity of the foundation you've built your life on. And your foundation speaks to your past and potential stability, success and growth. Any time you put these things in question is the time you put your principles and values in question. And once those things become questionable, you will have to answer to the consequences. Peacekeeping at the cost of your identity is not peace. It's performance. We're so programmed to believe that humility equals invisibility. You must be unseen, unheard. Don't shine too bright. Don't speak too proudly. Don't grow too fast. But let's be honest. What we confusingly call humility is just fear wearing a moral mask. You believe because you have done so well for yourself and others have not, you have the moral duty and virtue of protecting them and sacrificing your own convenience for the collective welfare. That's not humility, that's self-erasure. It's not noble, it's tragic. Jealousy rarely comes from what you have achieved. It stems from your freedom to try, freedom to fail, freedom to win. And your freedom reminds them that they're still stuck in fear. It's not what you have, it's what you've dared to pursue in spite of fear. That shows courage, and that courage threatens their comfort zone. Here's something to think about. People who have tried and who are trying will always celebrate those who have accomplished a milestone, because now they're sure that because it happened for you, it must happen for them. When someone resents your progress, they're not reacting to your success, they're reacting to their own paralysis. Your light disrupts their denial. As children, many of us learn to read the emotional atmosphere around us depending on the mood. And depending on the mood, we will adjust, dim our joy, silence our wins, regulate our presence just so that we don't disturb the atmosphere. We would rather learn how to cope with it, and as a result, we lose ourselves being slaves to the comfort of others. You're not learning to thrive, you are learning to survive. Surviving in conditions you have accepted for yourself. Survival becomes a prison when carried into adulthood. What once protected you is now preventing you. You are not that child anymore, and you do not need to shrink to stay safe. You're allowed to take up space loudly, fully, unapologetically. True humility isn't about pretending to be less. It's acknowledging that your light is not self-made, but sacred. It's not arrogance to honor what God has entrusted to you. You can walk tall and still bow to something higher. Confidence and humility are not opposites. They are companions when they are rooted in purpose. You can show up fully without apologizing for your presence. So stop distorting yourself for the comfort of the insecure. That's not humility. That's spiritual dishonesty. And I'm going to admit it, applause is seductive, but it is shallow. It's valid, it's motivating, but all it does is feed our ego and our desperation for acceptance. And it's often based on outward appearances, performance, or popular opinion rather than a deep understanding or appreciation of true worth and effort or character. Applause is temporary. Popularity fades, and praise can be forgotten quickly. It all fades. It teaches us to rely on the approval of others rather than from an internal sense of accomplishment, integrity, or self-worth. Alignment, however, is eternal. You walk the talk, your actions begin to reflect your inner truth. You become unstoppable, regardless of who's clapping. Let them misunderstand. Let them gossip. Let them talk. Your calling was not placed on you by the crowd, so why live for their approval? Live for alignment, not applause. Your destiny depends on it. You were never meant to be palatable. You were meant to be potent, and that potency begins the moment you stop apologizing for being fully awake to who you are. You don't need permission to shine. You just need the courage to remember the light was always yours.